Okay, we're live. Hey folks, this is Rotorstorm331, back to doing some more streaming again, this time with Dyne sidearms for the Going Out Classic. This is my last run for the event. Of course, as mentioned earlier, this was meant to be done tomorrow, but due to work issues, it was moved up to today. So again, shoutouts to the RGL staff for letting me get this taken care of today instead of pulling this out. So anyway, this has been a while since I brought this game to one of these events, so I figured I decided to try to beat this with just using manual buttons rather than doing auto fire. But we're going to see how well this goes. We're good or worse, so we're going to be treating this as a speed run. So once I get the name started, we'll probably going right into the run in general. So we're going to put in RGL first and then get started. So here we go. Alright, here we go. Now we're off. So anyway, Dyne sidearms just came out in 1986, for those of you that weren't aware. So this is actually a mid-80s game, actually, for the most part. So the Zomban Empire is responsible for destroying much of Earth, and you're taking control of mobile armor suits, basically meant to combat this evil force and try to stop them from destroying Earth in general. Destroy the event. Now, as to why there's outer space on Earth, I have no idea. But anyway, this is like one of the two games I know that Capcom created that involved a left and right fire button. In general, I played mostly this game in a youth center in Alabama during my time there. And basically, the power-up system is pretty unique because with bit and spread guns, you get basically up to 3 upgrades, whereas Mega Bazooka Launcher and 3-Way give you like 2 upgrades, the auto has 1, and you got 3 speed upgrades when you get POWs. So anyway, I just collected the fusion item with the alpha and beta symbol, and this basically allows you to combine your mobile suit with your 2-player counterpart. And each one is very different in general. So in Alpha's case, when he combines with Beta, he gains the ability to fire an 8-way shot, and it's very different when you fire it multiple times. Whereas if you're playing as Beta and fuses with Alpha, he gets the ability to throw stationary energy boomerangs that come right back and to the area where he fired. Technically, I prefer Beta over Alpha, but since I don't have the option of playing second player right now, Alpha would have to be the option of choice. So right now we're going to try to get the good auto. Alright, there we go, which is a very iconic one there. So the start one lets you fire both up and down as well as forward, but it's not nearly as strong as the Yashi one. A lot of the kids back then that I knew of back then referred to it as the sucky auto for a more somewhat of an appropriate term. But anyway, this game definitely does require you to be on the lookout to cover your back as well as your forward. So believe it or not, one of the Mystic Warrior games that Capcom had also relied on this, but you're doing it on horseback instead. So believe it or not, in later Capcom titles, Alpha and Beta make cameo appearances as icons, and like in the Street Fighter games and the SNES and whatnot. So Alpha is controlled by Lieutenant Henry, whereas Beta is controlled by Sergeant Sanders. And the only port this game came out for was for the TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine. So the centipede monsters are pretty annoying because they take a lot of hits to bring down. So right now we're playing this on level 0 difficulty. So we haven't seen any enemies open fire on us yet, but as we progress, it's going to get way difficult than when you see one right now. But then again, this is the difficulty I played on the arcades back then at the youth center I used to play at. So right now we also have some missiles. We got a lot of enemy armaments all over the place. Bonzon Empire ain't playing playing around here. So right now we're doing pretty darn well, but we're going to probably see some difficulty pick up. And it is possible to get crushed if you don't get yourself out of the way when the screen transitions. So moves forward. Ah, got hit. So that means the next hit I take is going to probably cost me my fusion form. You definitely want to be in fusion form as much as possible, because that gives you an additional armor per hit. So this is one of those Rotorstorm331s, or whatever they're called. And there's technically 3 of those we get to fight throughout the entire game. So that's the first one. We'll be dealing with another one later, and there's also going to be one more when we get to, before we fight Bonzon himself. So we're going from 4 to going down here. So right now we do need to keep our fusion up as much as possible. But yeah, I don't really play a whole lot of shooters, but this was definitely one of my favorites growing up. So yeah, we lost our fusion forms, so we do need to be very careful. Luckily, we're going to be coming up to one pretty soon. Yeah, some of them will be like 1 per area, and then in some cases you get 2. So you can deliberately refresh your fusion if you were willing to take a chance. But you do have to be careful because it's pretty easy to take multiple hits without realizing it. Plus your hitbox is a lot more bigger too. Of course, these are enemy mobile suits too. They fire those obnoxious hit missiles. So, like in most Capcom games, they do have bonus items for you to pick up for more points. You do get some extra lives once you reach a certain point tally. So right now we're using the 3-way shot. The sprint gun actually has some pretty good staying power too. So that one has a very rare 1-up through the mobile suit icon. So yeah, these things are going to start firing missiles now. Alright, so we're going to be dealing with 2 of these enemies. So as you can definitely tell, we're using the Mega Bazooka launcher, and that allows us to do more damage to most of these foes. Ah, thank you, David. Alright, so now we're moving on to round 4, and this is where we're going to be getting some more difficult battles coming up. So we're switching some weapons, so we're just showing off the spray gun. So once it reaches its 3rd tier, it hits just about almost everything. But the downside is that it's not very, doesn't have very huge rapid fire, unlike the 3-way does. Yeah, if we get some time, we'll show off the bit too. So basically, it just adds another shot to your rotating with these orbs. I don't know if I got hit or not, since I got my TV muted. But yeah, we're going to show off all the weapons while we got a chance. Except for the star one, because we're going to try to avoid that one if we can. So, even though it doesn't have the ability to fire up and down like the other one. Alright, we're going to take the loss right here so we can reload. Now, every time you lose your fusion form, it does knock down the rank a bit, so it's not exactly as bad as you'd think of it. But eventually, it will go back to where it was. But yeah, now the centipedes are going to start... oops. Yeah, we just lost our 3 fusion. So that means we probably might not be getting it until almost to the end of the level now. But yeah. The centipedes are pretty annoying, especially the green-brown ones. They move insanely fast. Not to mention, once they pass you, they will open fire on you. And of course, the fusion form gives you a lot of attack options when you fuse with your other mobile suit. Whew, that was close. But yeah, you don't want them. You don't want to be anywhere near them when they open fire on you. That is for sure. Okay, so I would love to say we're going to get our fusion right here, but it's going to be a little bit further up. Further, where we are right now. Ooh, we got a free auto, though. Whew, that was close. Whew. Yeah, this is, it's more easier, but if you're playing on the higher difficulties, this can be a bit of a nightmare, too. Because a lot of the enemies will open fire on you. Yeah, you have to be careful with the eyes, because these guys will either hang around for a bit, or they just come right at you. This would be no problem if I was doing auto fire right now. I mean, if there was a board for speedrunners.com and I was the moderator for it, I would definitely allow auto fire. Alright, so we're getting close to our next fusion. Second one for this area. Whew! Welcome back, Fusion. Alright, so normally I would position my, my mobile suit right near the core. Whoa. Yeah, I definitely took a hit there, so next hit's gonna probably cancel the fusion form there again. But yeah, if you're lucky enough, you can position your character right on the core, and you can basically blast it to bits before the lasers can hit you. But I've been pretty unlucky in recent practice. I might stick around on the main center next time. But yeah, it's very difficult to fight the Ouroboros string with the twin laser one, as its preferred weapons. So yeah, now you can definitely tell the difficulty's starting to go up a bit, because they're now starting to open fire. So yeah, we're going to position our character right here, and intercept all the enemies coming forward. Doing the best we can to avoid any more problems. So we got 2 enemies coming to the sea. So it does take quite a bit to remember all the enemy positions. If you do decide to speedrun it, well, it's more of an auto score, but still. If we were talking about speed, we're probably aiming for quick finishes on bosses and trying not to take deaths. Alright, so now we're in an underwater area. A bit of a small break from the space that we've been seeing. Yeah, this place would make Davy Jones's locker look tame. should hit. Refresh our mobile suit. To fusion, so... Now remember, every time we lose the fusion form, the rank does go down a bit. But eventually it goes back to where it was. So we get a bit of a reprieve. Yeah, during practice I lost my fusion form right here. Alright, so the boss from Stage 3 returns for the final time. So, unlike the first one we fought, this one fires homing missiles in addition to those three-way lasers. But the bosses that we're going to be fighting from here on out are going to not only have those, but the ability to start ramming right into us, too. Alright, so we're starting to get further into the Bonzon Empire's turf. By the way, the BGM for this game is phenomenal, by the way. Not bad for a game that was made in 1986, by the way. But yeah, I didn't really get into this game until, like, the late 80s, early 90s, actually. But yeah, I recommend checking it out. It's currently out right now on the Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. Definitely well worth interested if you're into Capcom games. Whoa, these guys aren't messing around. They're definitely going for shots and everything. Every now and then, you're going to come across hidden power-ups when you blast into the objects. Whew. Alright, we're getting close to the end, but we still got a little bit more fighting to do. Alright, once we cross this gap right there, we're getting close to the boss. And we'll be dealing with this boss from here on out. So we'll get these added bonus points while we're at it. So this is probably one of the more frightening bosses. This thing can chase you down, in addition to firing homing missiles and three-way lasers. Yeah, I don't know if I've taken a hit or not on this one, since I don't have my audio on right now on the TV. Last thing I don't want to have happen is audio being muted. Alright. So now we're in the area where this stage would normally be featured in the demo. After this running a demo of the weapons. So we're definitely at the heart of the Bonzon Empire. They're definitely in the center of the Earth. And it's not just enemies in the air, we got battle stations and mobile suits hiding in the lava and the infamous centipedes. That was a little bit too close for comfort there. Of course, we got missiles coming from above, too. Alright. So far so good. We do have a fusion coming up. So if we do lose our fusion form beforehand, we can get a new one. I'm hoping we don't. Yeah, so there's the fusion. And there's also a 1-up too. we should be good now. For now. Yeah, this is actually a pretty good BGM for this stage, by the way. It definitely shows you're definitely getting close to the final areas of the game. And the gravity of the situation. Ah, we lost it, darn it. So yeah, we're in big trouble now. And unfortunately, with the Mega Bazooka launcher, you can't really fire off multiple shots. Alright, so that takes care of that area. From here on out, the stages are going to get a lot less longer. And of course, we'll be fighting that same boss again, too. And we definitely do need fusion right now because we're going to be fighting enemies all over the place. Woo, that was close! Yeah, you can definitely tell it can chase you down when it wants to. I thought Andros' forces were more persistent in Star Fox games. Alright, so that's the first of the short stages done. We're going to be dealing with more enemy mobile suits here. Not just on the right, but on the left too. Since we already got our fusion form, there's no real point of trying to get another one right now. We got some more bonus points, that's good. So at this point, we're now definitely entering the Bonzon Empire's turf. And at this point, they're throwing everything at us. Throwing out all their normal ships, throwing out their centipedes, they're throwing out everything but the kitchen sink. Not that these guys even know what a kitchen sink is. There's more of these bronze centipedes. Yeah, these things definitely give you the impression they want to ram right into you. Then they swerve around and basically just open fire when you least expect it. But yeah, like I said before, we do get a bit of reprieve when we lose our fusion forms because that prevents the enemies from going back to opening fire on us, but the rank will return to normal, and we're going to be back to having to dodge bullets and everything. Alright, we're getting close to the boss now, because the scenery is starting to change. Now, these enemies will always have power-ups whenever you defeat them. Ooh, that was close. Yep, he tried to go around us, obviously. Whew! Man, talk about craziness there. So far, no deaths, which is a miracle in itself. I better not jinx myself because we still have a run to do. 23 minutes ain't bad. We're getting close to the end, and we just lost our, just took a hit just now. bad if we get our fusion undone right now. Okay, time to pick it up again. There'll be another one coming up as well. Ooh! Yeah, they didn't expect you to get through that without losing your fusion on the first try, so they definitely had another one up just in case. Man, I just gotta be careful not to run into these guys. Where did that missile come from? I destroyed all of them. Whew! Okay, so the pre-open stage is a very, very short one, believe it or not. But we got bronze centipedes coming up too. There's the first one. We got our final Ouroboros ring to destroy. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm doing that, by the way. It's coming up, we get our final fusion. And we'll be getting that right before Bonzon. There's also a hidden 1-up coming up as well. So, time will be once the end appears on screen. So, we finally made it to Bonzon. This is not a very impressive layer, but it is what it is. So, basically, Bonzon's basically the same as those noxious centipedes. And they basically open fire using the hexagon shots. So, he'll always open fire from the head and tail. And of course, the more you destroy a Bonzon, he's going to... it becomes more harder to avoid the shots. Alright, time! 26:51. Whew! But yeah, there's no grand ending or anything other than the music you're hearing. And of course, we do get a small cast of developers that made this game possible. Thank you for the GGs of the opponents, Spaz, Toad, Less Honor, Aquas, 6553F, Elrock. Thank you all so much. But yeah, this game's a lot more difficult if you play it on the higher difficulties. But if you're new into learning the speedrun or whatever, this is definitely something you can try doing on level 0. And once you start getting confident and getting better, you can move on to the higher levels. But I bet you whoever does decide to speedrun this game literally and put a board up, oh man, I can imagine all sorts of tech can be found on this game. Next of them will let you enter your name, your initial. Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, you get to do that at the start of the game. That was what I was putting the name in. Oh, thank you, Bad Rito and Ben Kennel as well. So anyway, that concludes my runs for the year, as well as for the Coin Op Classic. Again, I want to give a quick shout out to RetroGamingLiveTV for letting me have a chance to display both King of Dragons and Hyperdyne sidearms. Hopefully by next year I will have more arcade titles to bring in, aside from these and Mercs. But hopefully I'll find some in the meantime. But anyway, we still have an entire evening plus Sunday. And we got more arcade goodness coming up right after this. So I'm going to go on ahead and hand it over to the good folks of RGL TV. And I will catch you all later and back on chat as well. This is Rotorstorm331 signing off. Have a great day. Take care, and I will see you all next time. Enjoy the coin-op classics.